They're revenue enhancing, revenue securing measures. And most of you, the little green sheet that I put here tells you the details. And you know, I'll go into that a little bit with people, but I want people to really understand why these measures exist, because in these economic times, everybody's pinching pennies and everybody's, you know, conscientious of cost and where money's going, and you're managing your household and I'm managing my household with the money, and I may go ask my mother for some money, but that's usually not that valid of an option for me because they're seniors with a fixed income. So we all find different ways to make do. And unfortunately, one of the ways we've come up to help the city is with these revenue enhancing measures. And I'm speaking on this because I'm one of the proponents for all the back and forth about it. I have served for the last year on the city's finance committee and on the city's revenue ad hoc committee. The finance committee, we saw that we were going to be in a deficit, and we said, what are we going to do to fix this? We can take some money out of reserves for the quick fix, but given the signs of the time, and the signs of the time at that time, 6 months ago, were nothing like they've been in the last week, we said we need to do something to fix this, to not have to come back to the reserves. We had about $19 million in reserves. We had a $9 million deficit at the end of the last fiscal year. As a finance committee, we were able to cut roughly approximately $5 million. So then we had a $4 million deficit that we could balance from reserves. But remember, the initial reserves fund was about $19 million. So that took us down to $15 million. And here we are, and we see that our revenues are not coming in, and we project, well, if we balance it off of the reserves, and understand the reserves are what's called reserves for economic uncertainties, which is where we are. But they're also the reserves that when the hillside fell, that's where we got a couple of million to match the federal government's million. If there's another earthquake, that's where some of that money's going to come from. So we don't, it's like your own personal bank account. You don't want to draw down to not. You want to leave something there. So we looked at what we were projecting. And where we've lost our revenue source, and you look at your own households and you can see this, people are buying less. So therefore we don't have as much sales tax revenue. The real estate market that was booming was helping us all with property tax and property value. Now we have just scores of foreclosed properties in our community and no one's buying, so we've lost on property tax. And so those what we thought might be a little thing have grown to be bigger things. And so we looked at revenue enhancements. And so, Ursula spoke a moment ago about the library being a great library system and all of that. And it is. And we have one of the fewest library systems where we're open on Sundays, for example. And people are used to that. And remember a few years ago we talked about closing on Sundays, and everybody, I think we did for a year, and everybody was all in uproar. So we opened back up on Sundays. We're one of the few cities where the police officers come out when you call for whatever you call for an accident report, just whatever you may call for. We have people come where other cities, they make you do all that kind of basic accident report, theft report, little theft, if there's such a thing, little theft report, excuse me, they make you do that all yourself. And then, they come out for the big things. So we have a great quality of life in San Leandro, and that's what these revenue measures are trying to shore up. People say they want more accessibility to services, you want more documentation, availability, and all that. That takes money. That takes money to make our city more web-friendly, if you will. People say they want new pools. That takes money. We have, as many of you know, on the Manor side, we have a nice pad of grass with the infrastructure underneath, waiting for ways to get dollars to build the pools. You want the continued police services. I want the continued police services, fire services. So these measures will not guarantee it. We're still going to have to make some policy decisions about how we apply the dollar spent, but I promise you if they're not there, you won't even have the chance the opportunity to advocate for them or make a stand for them. So, talked about a little bit about the background. So the measures themselves, RR is the utility rate, and that keeps what we already have going. Roughly right now people pay about a 6% utility users tax or fee. And what this is going to do is reduce it a fraction of a percentage, but apply it to more things because technology has changed. And so if you're a senior citizen like my parents and you have your basic telephone line and your basic things in your household, that probably won't change. You'll probably even save a little bit. But if you're a young person who's using voice, I don't even know all the correct terms for it, voice-operated internet stuff and some of those other things. You can tell I'm mid-age, I'm right in the middle there. You know, well, now we're keeping up with technology, so we're putting some fees on that for us. And then the other one is the other one that's already in existence is the 911 fee, the emergency access fee. And to be honest, we put this on the ballot to cover ourselves.
Make it legal. And
make it legal. There was a lawsuit by a neighboring city, and they had to take that fee off. So for much of your time here in San Leandro in the last 7 years or so, you've been paying it, and right now you're not. But we hope to bring it back. And that's because, you know, 911 is one of those things, this is what I always say about it. When you call it, you're typically not calling it for yourself. You're calling it for services for someone else. And what that covers is the dispatchers and the highway patrol. Right now, if you call from your cell phone on the highway, the call gets routed up to Sacramento. And the highway patrol is in the process of, with some new technology, making it now go to the jurisdiction where you are, which makes sense because, you know, instead of them rerouting the call back and forth and all of that, you call from 880 in San Leandro police get the call, but that means we're going to get more calls. So that means we need more dispatchers, that means we need more people at the ready to respond, and that's going to cost money. So the 911 fee is needed. It's going to help us upgrade our systems, keep our dispatchers, maybe increase our dispatchers, and be able to respond to services more quickly and more efficiently. And then the last one, Measure TT, that's the new one. That's the parcel tax. And that's $4 per parcel. And basically that's a cup of coffee a month if you go to Starbucks. And the goal here with this parcel tax is to keep our police services staffed at a level that they are now, which is keeping up with everything. We'd like to staff them more, and maybe we get some special funding or so forth, we might be able to do that. But right now we want to keep it at the level that we have so that we can respond to the calls quickly, respond to the needs as quickly as possible. So each of these measures are spelled out in bullet form with their highlights, how much they cost, the history of them. But I wanted all of you to understand better why. It's not like we just said, oh, let's just go to the people. You know, we sat around the table, we are you, the city council, we are you, we sit there, you know, like I said, there's not a lot of places we can go to get revenue enhancements for our own households. We recognize that. The things you pay, we pay for, the expenses, the increases you feel, we feel. But we also have a greater obligation to making sure that this community is safe and wholesome, and the quality of life is that of why we all choose to live here and be involved here. And that's why these measures are on the ballot, and I hope that all of you will support these measures. I hope that you will tell your friends to support these measures, and if you would like to volunteer to help us to reach out to others to support these measures, please call me or your council member, and we will put your time and energy to good use. Thank you very much.